I'm gonna probably spitball this one. So I've been watching this video. I've been watching this guy for, well, this is the first video I'm seeing from him, and he hit on a lot of really good points. And so I'm gonna let it play. I see a lot of people who do these reaction videos. It's, I don't know. He's making a lot of good points that I want to connect to, and it's been a video that I've been trying to make for a while. So yeah, I'm gonna let him play, and I'm gonna probably also be doing some other stuff. But you know, feel free to hear and watch him do what he's been saying, and I'm gonna respond to that.
Because he wants to collect money from me, and I never did anything. Meanwhile, we could have gone a better society if we start asking, for a better system from our political leaders rather than protect them. Like I said, it's almost like there's something wrong in our genes. It's almost like it's inbuilt.
All right, that point right there. There's a part in the video where he talks about like we're so caught up in how we're so caught up in entertainment, in entertaining ourselves, and not really caring about what truly matters, right? Like not caring about like the fact that most of the time with most things it's about entertainment. It's about like look at our exports, right? Where we export things like music, movies, art, and the thing he really hit home for me was when he said that we don't even have a better system, right? And I remember kind of looking at the protests and the things that are happening in Kenya, uh, protest, and part of it was I was watching this video. I think it was by War something. YouTube. Let me actually just go to my YouTube here. And so I was watching this video by War Infographics. I think he has some good takes. I think he also has some bad takes. And the idea really was that he had this take where I was like, what is the end goal of the protests in Kenya, right? And what is the end goal? Like, what are we trying to do? And to connect this back to where I started you off today, was we need a better system, right? And a better system in our society, right? We need to kind of think about what does that mean to have a better system? And yeah, war fronts. So he makes a
before we talk
point.
about the June
He
20th.
talked about the whole protest. I think you should watch the video. It's a really good video. But I'm going to go back to the video we're watching. And while I was thinking about the protests, I'm Kenyan, right? And I think of all the things that I've kind of come across, like the George Floyd stuff, which as a black person who grew up in the United States, I was actually born in Kenya. Mi najua Kiswahili, najua kuongea Kiswahili. I know how to speak Swahili. Timanyitia Kikusi, I don't know how to speak that much Kisi. So Kenya is divided into tribes. There's more than 40 something tribes. Each of those tribes has their own language, their own culture, and their own history, right? We're very diverse. And part of that is when I see black people, when I see people like me getting hurt, I almost got shot when I was 16. I don't know even know if I've ever said this story. I almost got framed and shot when I was 16 in Minnesota by a cop. So when the George Floyd thing is happening and there's a lot of protests, I can feel that he gets killed in Minnesota. Where I grew up in the United States, and so there's an aspect for me where it's like, I sympathize, I empathize with people in those situations. It feels really deeply to me. There's something this guy actually said and did really well in his video, which was that at the beginning he was just like, look, I can make really educational videos, I can make like really cinematic videos, but this one is just gonna be me talking from my heart and talking from what motivates me, what do I sacrifice so much for, what am I doing here, right? And to be honest with you, there's an aspect of this where it's a self-reflection. But I'm gonna ramble. Honestly, it's probably gonna be rambling on. So I'm gonna let him play and kind of mention some of these things. You can even see the subtleness of him saying, "Is it something wrong with our genes? Right? Is it something wrong internally with us that we don't like our societies are broken, and they're broken in a way that we we're not able to self-organize, we're not able to build better societies. Our exports are not highly sophisticated engineering systems or highly sophisticated societies. If we compare our societies to the western world, to the western ones, they seem a bit more organized, a bit more set up really well. I'm in Colombia. Why am I in Colombia? I'm in Colombia because their social systems, well, the infrastructure is really good. And I might not speak that much Spanish, but I'm here because I like the infrastructure, the house I'm in, the things that are going on around here. So, there's a lot, things to be said about that. And I'm gonna kind of let him talk a little bit more. But yeah, there's definitely gonna be.
It's almost like we cannot grow. We are going to say, oh, the first school was in Africa. The first person to fly to the moon was an African. African history was erased. Why is it so easy for them to erase our culture? And if you have done it before, why is it so hard for us to do it again?
All right, so I like this one because, my stated goal in a lot of videos, in a lot of older videos, you can see me posting a lot of those older videos from my YouTube channel on my TikTok, Instagram, and short form content. But the whole idea of it was to terraform the desert, right? To terraform the Sahara Desert, build new cities in it, and give the next billion Africans a place to stay. I think it's a very hopeful dream. I think it's a very pie in the sky kind of dream, but it's my North Star. It's something that I've always talked about since I was 16. And so when he's talking about that, when he hits on the point that, why, if we've done it before, if we've built pyramids before, why can't we do it again? What's stopping us from doing it again? What genuinely can we say, like, oh, we're not gonna be able to build pyramids because why? Because we're not able to, because we forgot how to, because we can't even state that as a goal? This camera is terrible. We can't even state that as a goal. So there's a part of me where it's like, why I can make that larger? I didn't know that. Anyways, there's a part of me where it's like, oh, that's interesting. Where it's like, okay, I'll just make it small. Where we're not able to, like, why haven't we done the great things that we say we've done, right? And I think that's a really important point he brings up, where it's that, like, I get shit for saying, I don't even get shit for it. I haven't met people who give me shit for it because I'm like, bro, like the only kind of shit I only get for wanting to terraform the desert is that, oh, the winds that blow across northern Africa through the Sahara Desert gather all the sand, and then it deposits the sand in the Amazon rainforest, and which helps the rainforest grow better. And that's probably the only critique that I've heard, which is like a rational, logical critique on why I shouldn't do it. But also the rebuttal to that is to say, if we don't have such a big vision, and he'll get into the vision that builds a nation, if we don't have a vision that unites us, that brings us together, that helps us move forward, that helps us reimagine our societies and the systems we live in, then the world is going to be stuck. The world is going to be in a position, in a situation where we're downtrodden. We are not building the most sophisticated things. We have the lack of pride in ourselves, in where we come from as a people. We are proud people, but we have high self-esteem, high confidence. I'd say that we mostly have high confidence, low self-esteem, because of the things that the nations, the cultures that we come from, right? And the societies that they are, there's much to be proud of, but we know we could be better. So we know that we're not doing the best that we could be doing. And as much as we might look at outsiders and say, oh, it's the Americans, the CIA, the British, the colonial powers, the French, we have to also kind of take responsibility and say, have we lived in squalor? Have we lived in these broken societies for so long that it has become all that we know, all that we can expect of ourselves, right? Is it, are we even capable and able to dream, dream of a better future? Like, I spent so much fucking time trying to build the tools to get there. I failed a lot of those times. Going through another phase of my life where I'm relearning the same things. I build AI, I build technology. One of my friends had a really good critique for me, and he was like, he didn't really say it to me, he said it to my other friend, and my other friend told me this. But he said, if he's so great at building AI systems, why hasn't he built an AI system that can make him a millionaire, a billionaire, and all these things, right? And I think partly it's me, I'm having a harder time reconciling the me that I do work as a consultant for in terms of building AI systems for businesses, and the me that wants to terraform the desert, help humanity by automating the production and distribution of basic needs, and making money to survive and to do that. Like, how can I have so much good ideas and so many things going for me? I have so many good things going for me, yet I'm not as successful as I could be, right? And I could say the same for from the societies I come from. So I'm gonna let him play here because yeah, he has a good point about culture.
We like to ourselves that we are very educated. You know, a lot of us are not educated, and that is the truth. I don't know why some people feel the need to attack the truth. It is the truth. I am not attacking you. I am not fighting with you. This is not a bad video. If you look at it, this is not a bad video. I'm not making something to bash us or to talk down on us. You understand what I'm trying to say? If you go to the rural areas, you know that a lot of people are not educated. A lot of people doesn't even know what YouTube means. And even the people that does, the people that know what Facebook means and what YouTube means, what Facebook means, you look at what they see online and it's going to break your heart. You know, still in this our country that we have people that are into cybercrime and they come online to broadcast it. And when you talk about it, they be like, what do we want us to do? There is no job, there is no anything. Like, I feel defeated sometimes that I made that tweet. I said, at the end of the day, I might be an hypocrite because I'll have to look out for myself. I'll just have to look out for myself at the end of the day. You know, making these videos because I'm still feeling the pains. I don't think whenever I'm not, when it comes to the time that I'm not feeling the pain anymore, I'm still going to be making this type of videos. Right? Recently, I got an opportunity to have a chat with Tayo, I know. And, you know, he was looking for a creative director, someone to work with him on his projects. And yeah, I applied, you know, a lot of people tagged me on it. Meanwhile, we could have gone in better society if we start asking for a better system from our political leaders rather than protect them. Like I said, it's almost like there's something wrong in our genes. It's almost like it's inbuilt. It's almost like we cannot grow. You know, we are going to say, oh, the first school was in Africa.
Okay, there's something I don't know when he said that, but he said, like, there's a joke he'll make later where he's like, our political leaders. No, I don't mean our political leaders. I mean our rulers. And I thought that was really interesting because he's basically pointing out the fact that to be a leader is to lead almost in a sense selflessly for the greater good of everyone. But is that what we see in Africa? We see a lot of leaders who want to take advantage of the society, right? And you know, a really good example of this is probably what's happening in Kenya, right? So if I go back to wherever I had this Warfront video, there's an aspect of this which made me think.
I need to introduce you to a man named.
Which made me feel like, damn. So for those who don't know what's going on in Kenya, there's a bill that they were gonna pass. People are protesting, and this guy was like killed by the state, essentially by the police, and police brutality was really terrible. And you know, there's a part of me where this video that we're currently watching, he talks about there's a thing he talks about, which is about like Yeah, this part.
That just makes me realize about how we have this form of superiority complex as Africans, where we are just, as long as we are better than the next man, we are just good. It doesn't matter what it is about. It doesn't matter anything as long as we are better than the other man. And I feel like this is one of the tactics that they used to mentally enslave or during slavery. I don't know why something in my heart just makes me feel like I am right about most of these things, right? I made a tweet years ago. I said, if you keep 4 black people together, 4 Africans, and you punish them, you give them the same punishment, you starve them, you make them work endlessly for months. And one day you take one out of those 4 people and you feed that one decently, you give him new clothes, you treat him well, you make him have fun, and then you tell him, I want you to be the king over the other 3. You have the power now. You no longer have to work that hard, right? I want you to monitor them for me and make sure they never escape. He's probably going to do that job better than the person that enslaved them. He will not see it. He's almost like he's going to forget all that months of suffering, right? And just pay attention to that one day that they made him feel like a king, and he would not want to leave that position of having power over his fellow people that they have suffered together. Rather than think of freedom, you start thinking about himself. I don't know, maybe you guys have seen Django Unchained. Samuel L. Jackson portrayed a character like that. And it's just sad that we are like that, right? Even look at, when I talk about tribalism, and I talk about xenophobia and colorism. Egypt is Africa. Tunisia is Africa. Somalia is Africa, but they don't even want to associate themselves with us that have this kind of skin color. They feel like they are better than us, right? And xenophobia, Nigerian, South Africa, we don't even like ourselves, right? And it's just sad because on the long run, what progress are we making as Africans, right? I made a research about how many nuclear weapons is in the world currently. I think Russia has like 5,000 plus. On a better society, this is not a bad video. If you look at it, I'm still feeling the pains. I don't think when to get a US visa, it's very good to have traveled. I apply, a lot of people. Recently, I got an opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. So let me kind of hop in here. It's gonna be one of them weird videos where I'm just like ramble, but I'm gonna hop in here and eventually we'll get to this point. I forgot actually the angle I was gonna bring this in, but yeah, we're gonna go through this partly together. I'm not gonna really go through the whole thing. I'll skip around. If you wanna like read it, I can just send it to you. Just comment in the video below. So let's
Opportunity to have a chat with Tayo, I know.
let's there's something about systems that I think I really want to talk about. Like when you have a revolution, this is how I wanted to start this video. I don't make political videos. I don't see myself as a politician. I don't want to get into the politics of it. I just want to do things, and I think that's why I like tech. That's why I like tech more or less. But there's a concept that I really kind of hit on here in this white paper. I wrote it in like 2021. Well, I released it in 2021. Was working on it for some years. But essentially, our society is they're built around social contracts. I don't know if I have like an image of this, but whatever. So my point is that since the dawn of humanity, I wonder if I could zoom into this part. Oh, yep. Let's go there. All right. Since the dawn of humanity, right? I'm gonna move this here. I'm just gonna go with it. So, since the dawn of humanity, societies have been built around upon implicit or explicit just societies are built between with agreements between members, and such agreements were sustained either by violent or economic means, right? So societies are built by people who are agreeing to something. We agree to give the government taxes. The government agrees to give us rights, protect us from invaders, and build infrastructure and stuff like that. the Age of Enlightenment brought up this concept of social contract theory and was developed to explain the relationship between individuals and their governing state and society, right? I actually have a book up here by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Jean-Jacques Rousseau is the one who actually wrote, I think in this one I maybe have quoted him wrong in the past, but Jean-Jacques Rousseau, The Social Contract, El Contrato Social. Said I was in Colombia. So Jean-Jacques Rousseau has this book, and this book talks about how social contracts are used to build systems and the social contract between the state, government, and the individual, exactly what the image is showing here. And so the idea really is really simple. It is that society, these social contracts have existed for a long time. Implicit or explicit social contracts between the people who are governed with the people who govern. And so the idea is really that can we be able, we believe that this amazing yet outdated system of social contracts that weave the societal fabric is at the root of our modern wicked problems. A lot of the problems we see, the disconnect between the ruling class and the people who are ruled, is that the ruling class thinks that they are outside the ruling class, like the class to be ruled, and thus they rule in a way that isn't beneficial to the ones who are being ruled. But at the end of the day, the ruling class is dependent on the ones they rule to execute and enact their will, or the collective will. The ruling class is supposed to exemplify, care about, cater to the collective will. And I think there's a narcissism, whatever, I'm not going to even get into the social psychological essence of this. But my point is, the current modern problems we see, from poverty, from people, the rich becoming even 10 times, 100 times richer, is the fundamental disconnect between the social agreements we have, right? The more powerful people, the more rich people, the more people who are in positions of influence, they have the ability to sway and to move things towards their benefit, right? Ignoring the rest of everybody else. And there's almost like this lack of shared consensus reality, right? Whatever. So the social, environmental, and economic issues we experience are symptoms of this outdated system of agreements, right? Now, the social contracts have been around. People have eventually learned how to co-opt them and to corrupt them, right? Co-opt them and corrupt them to the benefit and the benefit of the rich and powerful, right? And look, I have I have nothing against rich and powerful people. What I want to do, and this is kind of the issue with political content, it's so easy to be clipped and to have something be taken out of context in a way that you didn't mean it. I want to be rich. I want to be powerful, but I don't think I place my richness and power over other people. I hope not to, right? I hope, and as I make this video, what I want to do is point out what I've thought about it. And this is my opinion. You can disagree with it or you can agree with it, whatever. I just want to share a perspective, right? And the perspective is the social, environmental, and economic problems we see, right? The protests, the rise amounts of protests, social unrest, people feeling like the governments don't really care about them. Trump just released the big, beautiful bill. I don't know nearly enough about it. But there's an aspect of which was kind of alarming, which was that ICE, the American organization right now that is rounding up immigrants and deporting them, got $1 billion, got way more money than the Brazilian military and other militaries around the world. They got quite a lot of money to do what? To surveil their population, find immigrants or the ones who the system defines as immigrants, and deport them, send them out of the society, right? That is a police state if I've ever heard of one. But hey, what do I know? That's just my opinion. And and so my other opinion is it is pertinent to state that what humanity needs is not another revolution, but an evolution of the fundamental elements of our social systems. I said this in 2021, and I still believe in this. I don't think we need another revolution. I think it's an evolution of the social systems. Now, you can say the evolution of social systems is a revolution. I'll let you argue about that in the comment section and tell me why. But for me, when I think revolution, I think violent revolution. And I think that there's an essence here which I want to distance, which is that protests in Kenya, bringing it back to what I was initially talking about, which the guy was also like talking about. I don't know if I'll ever I'll finish that video in this video, but I'm just gonna ramble now. I'm gonna speak from the heart. I think rambling gives it a negative connotation. But at the core of it is this essence, this understanding that I want to change how our social systems are built, designed, right? You do this with policy, you do this through the government. This is why it'd make more sense for me to be a politician rather than a technologist, a person who loves technology, or a technocrat. I'm not a technocrat. I don't have social political power to enact policy. What I have is some ideas and the will and the ability to build some of these ideas into products and systems and software. And I hope I actually fundamentally win because it benefits everybody. Human ingenuity knows no bounds. We can update our society's ancient system of social contracts while weaving a new fabric of society that solves most of our social environmental and economic issues. Now, for those who are familiar with I think I could have defined social contracts a lot better here. Social contracts are implicit, explicit, or tacitary agreements between members of a society, members of a society or a state for. Okay. So, let me do that again. Social contracts are implicit, explicit, or tacit agreements between members of a society or a state to collaborate or cooperate for social benefit. Such societal social contracts come at the cost of some individual freedoms and rights to protect the remaining rights and maintain social order. That's in essence, why governments do this. And so, the next concept I want to layer on top of that is smart contracts. Smart contracts is and the way I kind of actually ended up solving this is by using software. Smart contracts is a computer program or transaction protocol intended to automatically execute, control, and document relevant events and actions according to the terms of the contract and agreement. Poly 186 updates our outdated social systems by combining the social contracts and the social contract theory to build smart social contracts. A smart social contract is an explicit agreement on collaboration rules amongst individuals, organizations, and machines, recorded on smart contracts to cooperate for mutual benefit. I don't know why I say N. It should be A smart social contract is I typo shit. A smart social contract automatically executes the rights and rewards on fulfillment of prescribed conditions. Through these explicit agreements with clear rules of collaboration denoting the rights and rewards each is entitled to, will allow users worldwide to collaborate on local and global issues. I actually came across a video this week. This girl hit me up. I knew her from back in the day. Hey, if you're watching this, shout out to you. I'm not gonna say your name just because I don't want you to be doxxed and whatever. She hit me up out of the blue and she was like, "Hey, remember all those random weird ideas you were talking about?" I was kind of thinking about those. I've been talking about these for years. I was talking about this since I was 16. I'm 29 now, 28 this year. Shit. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, boy. I gotta get to it. Anyways, yeah. So she hit me up and she's like, "Hey, there's this really cool video that she shared with me, and it just kind of talked about the same things, right? The same things I'm talking about in social contracts here, but the way he put it was actually interesting because he didn't talk about social contracts and social systems or anything like that. He more or less talked about how systems are broken, right? Social systems are broken. Let's see here. And this one. No, not that one. No, it's not this one. That's on hit though. That's on hit though. Shout out to him. It was this video.
Evolution into absolute oppression.
And so he ended up kind of talking about it and building out. I love his visuals, so I'm gonna kind of play it out. But the whole point he had, right, was there's fragmentation in the world. We're all arguing and fighting and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna bring this back to just building better social systems, right? And the way we build better social systems is by redefining how social contracts work, agreements between people, and having them be intelligent enough to. And he talks about how that is here. Let's see later. But the whole idea is like, us being able to collaborate. And I'm just going to play these visuals as he talks about it. He calls it the interbrain, but it's basically, the way I kind of thought about it was updating, evolving, and updating and evolving the fundamental parts of society, right? So he's going to talk about personal knowledge management. The parallel to that in my system is actually, is actually why is it, okay. Oh my God. Okay, can I just, all right, it's, does it have to be page by page? Okay, let's just do it like this. Okay, it's a down essay, which is a personal, I'm so tired. I've been not sleeping well this whole week. Okay, let's go here. So the way we change society is by, I think I should just make this an entire video on its own, but it's, society can only be improved through collaboration, right? The societal freedoms and reality building. And so I'm gonna actually zoom in here so that we can actually see what I'm talking about here. But the whole idea is like, look, we wanna improve personal freedom, communal freedom. And so, part of that is, and, I have this whole thing about biomimicry and how like social systems and just, we're gonna use biomimicry to really kind of cater to how to redesign society through just learning from nature and redesigning our systems according to that. But when he talks about like, the conversations that happen, the interaction between people, I kind of see those as collaborations, right? Agreements, talking about things that we care about and deciding to change those. I want to end this video just because I don't want to ramble too much. So let me see how I want to end this video. One of the things I wanted to kind of mention in it is, damn, I have 5,000 videos liked. It's not that. It's this concept of thinking about social systems and how we can be able to redefine society towards working for the smaller people, right? Like, why is it skipping? So smart social contracts are my answer to how we can update social systems to work for the collective rather than individuals. That's really what I think smart social contracts should be. I will evolve the idea some more. I'm obviously building the software. I'm very tired right now. I'm probably going to take a break here from just computer screens. Well, I'll go look at a different screen, but the idea is really that we use blockchain and smart contracts to build smart social contracts to enable people to self-organize towards building society in a better way. That's the thesis of what smart social contracts are, how they improve on current contracts. Actually, what they will do is remove the middleman, which is the government, in being able to audit and not authenticate, but more or less audit contracts between people, and really make it so that people can self-organize on their own. And there comes this emergent property of humans being able to interact with each other, leading us to be able to like solve the problems that matter to us. Because if the governments aren't going to solve the problem, governments, politicians, billionaires, rich people, fuck it, whatever. If motherfuckers in power are not going to solve the problems that matter to us, we have to be able to self-organize and build a system that helps us self-organize towards solving the problems that matter to us. If they want to stay in their ivory towers and eat fucking snails or whatever, do whatever they want to do, be on some Diddy shit, they could do that. But we have to then kind of solve our own problems. We can use automation to automate the production distribution of basic needs. We can define the future. We can define what we want. We can self-organize towards getting that to work. And the way we do that, in my perspective, in my opinion, is by having a system of smart social contracts that help us self-organize, give people the right rewards based on their contribution to the improvement of society, rather than like nepo babies and like, you know, if you just happen to be lucky in a position of power and you take advantage of that, you're actually, you know, rewarded. It's a true meritocracy rather than like a somewhat semi kind of, if you squint at it, it's a meritocracy. So that's really what I'm trying to say here. This goes into like my vision where I'm like, oh yeah, people shouldn't be hungry. Like basic needs should be more or less free. But that's a whole topic for another day. But that's the future. That's the future, right? I want to think of it as like, why wouldn't we be in a future where food is free, shelter is free, people can do that shit. An AI DAO also came into this concept, so I might go back into this, but I'm already building like an entirely other software, so I can't really get into and distracted. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.